AI is changing how people find and vet who they are going to hire, which brings up a question that I get a lot from my clients. In this age of AI search, does having a website even really matter anymore? Let me say the uncomfortable part first. The website that you have now is probably going to be obsolete in about 3 years as AI search becomes more and more prominent. It's already starting. And that 3-year number is not just me being dramatic, I promise. I was just at a marketing conference all about AI search, and one of the speakers put up a slide comparing how fast big technologies have been adopted. AI reached 100 million users faster than Google or the smartphone, or even the internet, which the speaker called the fastest adoption of any technology that has been measured. And when the way people search changes that fast, 3 years is about how long your current website has, maybe even less, because it's structured for the pre-AI era. I'm Jenny Lakenin. I've built over 150 websites for coaches and online businesses, and most of the websites that I look at are not really ready for this shift yet, even the big, like multi-7-figure businesses. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the job that your website has now in this AI search era, and the 4 things that it needs to do that job so that when someone asks AI who to hire, your name is the one that comes up. Here's what I mean when I say obsolete. And it starts with how AI search actually works. When someone asks ChatGPT for a career coach for tech professionals, let's say, the AI pulls from sources it reads and trusts, and it hands back a short list of names. Now, if your website has valuable content that helps to answer that question, you are more likely to make that list. Now, if your site is just a homepage and like a scheduling link, there's not a whole lot of content there for AI to get to know you, and it's probably going to recommend somebody else. Your site is still visible to the AI, it's just not the one that it's going to pick. Obsolete doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a website anymore. Your website is still going to be your business card. People are still going to visit it. They're going to look around. They're going to decide whether or not they like you. They're going to decide whether or not they want to hire you. That job isn't going anywhere. What's changed is that your website now has a second reader. AI is reading it too, constantly. It's forming an opinion of you before the real people even arrive, because by the time your future client asks ChatGPT who can help, AI has already read your website and decided whether or not it's going to bring your name up. It's basically like the gatekeeper for your website's front door. And the problem is that the website most of us have right now, the online brochure with like a homepage, an about page, maybe a scheduling link, is built for the first reader only. It gives the second reader, the AI, very little content to work with. So when I say your website is going to be obsolete in 3 years, that is the version of it that I'm talking about. That brochure website, it's the site that is only doing half of its job, and the owner doesn't even know it. So I want you to think about that second reader like this. AI is the best connected referral partner that you could possibly have. It's talking to hundreds, maybe thousands of your potential clients every day. And when one of them asks for help, it makes a referral. Or they may not even know that they can hire someone to solve this problem that they have, and AI can suggest that to them, which is just amazing. But it can only refer businesses that it knows and trusts. And much of what it knows about you, it gets from your website. So when your website does its job for that second reader, the AI knows what you do, it understands who you help, it trusts what you say, and it has your own words ready to quote. Let me show you what this looks like when the referral actually happens. I have a friend and colleague named Greg Faxon. Greg is a business coach who's barely on social media. He doesn't run ads. A while back, a client told him that they found him by asking ChatGPT for a business coach. And then ChatGPT recommended Greg by name and quoted a line straight out of an article that he had written on his own site about the best business coach for coaches. That's the AI referral partner doing exactly what I just described. It read Greg's site, and when a client asked who could help, it surfaced his name and quoted his own words to the potential client. Greg calls this scalable referrals, and I love that because it's word of mouth, but it's happening at the scale of the whole internet. And it's not just Greg that's getting clients from ChatGPT. In a community of about 3,500 coaches that I'm in, I asked if anyone was getting clients from AI search, and a few of them raised their hands. Carrie Ann, who is a communications coach for couples, said her last 2 couples both found her through ChatGPT. Luke, a coach who works with people that are working through infidelity, told me that 2 different people in 1 week said that his podcast had been recommended to them by ChatGPT. And here's the flip side of these stories. Every client that Carrie Ann and Luke picked up this way is a client that another coach in their same niche never even got to meet, because that coach probably had a brochure site that didn't really have a lot of content on it. And that is what I mean when I said that this is already starting. And the clients that come this way are a very different kind of client. One case study found that people who come from ChatGPT converted at around 16% versus under 2% from a regular Google search. And that lines up with what I'm seeing elsewhere, that potential clients coming from AI tend to convert several times higher than the ones from, like our usual channels. Compare that to Meta ads, where a lead might be anywhere from, like $5 to $15, but all you're getting from them is an email, and it's from someone who wasn't even looking for you in the first place, and they still need to be talked into working with you, and most of them never become clients. Plus, that funnel stops working the moment that you turn that ad off, whereas putting effort into AI search doesn't. Let me tell you about the part that I am most excited about. We are still really early. AI search is a small slice of how people find you today, but it's growing very fast, more than 5 times year over year, and hardly anyone is building on purpose for it yet. Even the coaches that I just mentioned really stumbled upon it by accident. So imagine the traction they would get if they went after it on purpose and really capitalized on what's already working for them. That's why I think right now is a great time to jump on this, because the coaches and online businesses that set this up right now are going to be the ones that AI already knows very well by the time that everyone else is finally paying attention to AI search as a marketing channel. Now, for AI to make that recommendation, your website needs to have 4 things: material that is worth quoting, real pages where it can read that material, a clear answer about what you offer, and the same story everywhere that it is checking. Those are the 4 things that we are going to build into your website. Now, there's more to it than this, but from all my research, these are the 4 that matter the most right now and can really get you the quickest wins. So let's dig into those 4 things a little bit more. The first thing your website needs, as I said, is material that is worth quoting. And honestly, the best of that material comes straight from your client conversations. And I'm starting here because a lot of people are not focusing on this, and I think it really matters. This material is what is the most valuable to you for your marketing, because it's the one thing that AI cannot make up on its own and your competitors also can't copy. There are 2 gold mines in those client conversations. The first is really your own thinking. Your clearest explanations and your best IP don't typically start their life in a document somewhere. They come out of your mouth on calls when a client asks you a question and you answer it better than you could have planned. I don't know about you, but that happens to me all the time. Jot those things down at the end of every week, and over time, you have this endless supply of content that is genuinely your IP. The second goldmine in those client conversations, and a lot of people really miss this, is the exact phrases that your clients use, the way they describe their problem in their own language, before your framework or your fancy terms kind of get them talking a little more in like coach speak, because that's the language that the next person is going to type into AI when they are looking for help. When your content echoes their words, then you're a lot more likely to match what potential clients are searching for. I did this in my own business. I went back through a year's worth of consult calls, and I pulled the exact phrases that people use to describe what they're struggling with when it came to their website. That became some of the strongest copy on my whole site, because it wasn't how I talk about my work, it was how my clients talk about their problem, which is so much more relatable to my potential clients. And here is what I love about this. That copy works on both of your readers at once. It's more relatable to the real person landing on your website, and it's also the exact phrases that AI is going to match against when the next person is typing their version of that same problem into ChatGPT. But remember, material in your head or in a notepad app somewhere is not going to do anything for you until it's actually on your website, somewhere that AI can actually read it, which is the second thing. And that is to turn those client conversations into a real library of content on on your website. Because as we saw from the coach examples earlier, this is really what separates sites that get recommended from the ones that don't. That raw material is gold, but it only works for you once it's published as content that AI can actually read on your website. Let me reiterate this. AI is not likely to recommend you if your site is a single homepage. It recommends you from content that answers the questions your future clients are searching for in depth with blog or podcast content. Now, there are a few things that make your content the kind that AI wants to pull from. The first is to start with topics and questions that your clients bring you about the work that you do, not just random posts. I learned this the hard way. I created a lot of content around random tech things like how to generate good AI headshots and how to make an email signature and things like that. And sometimes those were questions that people would ask me, but those weren't the primary questions that were going to be important for me to answer so that they would hire me. It wasn't strategic because it wasn't about websites. Now, once I started writing blog posts about messaging strategy for websites and how to make a high converting sales page and things like that, that content is working a lot harder for me to inform AI about what I do than just random kind of out there tech topics. Once you've honed in on topics that are actually going to build authority for you, answer one clear question per piece and put that answer near the top, usually in like a short summary section. In one study of over 1 million AI answers, 44% of what ChatGPT quoted came from just the first third of the page. So you want that quick answer close to the top. Then make the post easy to scan and easy to quote. You do that by having clear headings, that short summary at the top that I mentioned, and include a section of frequently asked questions towards the end of the post. Those are the parts that AI is going to really reach for because it's easy to consume. Then don't let this library of beautiful content that you've created go stale. Half the content that AI pulls from was published in just the last 3 months. So a blog that you update consistently is a lot more likely to win out in AI search than a blog that you posted on twice 2 years ago and then you just kind of forgot about it. To keep your blog fresh, I would highly recommend tying in your own proof. AI really likes specific numbers. It likes client results. It likes stories, experiences that only you have. Like it said, those are things that it can't really create or write on its own. And they're exactly the things that it loves to quote. And this library goes beyond a blog. So if you have a podcast, you can treat each episode page like an article. Give it a summary at the top, a table of contents, the full transcript, and show notes with headings and your key points written out. My friend Rachel Linthagen with the Marketing for Entrepreneurs podcast does such a great job of this with her player embedded at the top of her posts and then subheadings within her show notes. And this is so effective because AI works from the text on the page, not necessarily the audio. So that written structure is what really helps support your episode and getting found, getting quoted. But back to that question that your AI referral partner still can't answer. What do you sell? Informative that by giving it the third thing, which is turning your offers into proper sales pages on your website. This one is a little bit more practical, and honestly, it's where a lot of websites are already kind of obsolete these days. Most people describe what they do in a paragraph on maybe their homepage or on their scheduling page, and then they stop there. And that's okay to start, but it's not really a great way for AI to get to know what you do. For example, if you offer one-on-one coaching and a group program, ideally, each of those has its own page to explain it, and then one overview page that links to all of your offers in one place. I'll pick on myself here. I, for a long time, had a separate page for each of my offers, but I didn't have a central services page that was tying them together. And an AI search specialist that I met at that conference that I mentioned earlier told me flat out, it's you need one, Jenny. Go create one right now. Because when someone asks AI what Jenny Lakenen's services are, I don't want it hunting all over my website trying to piece them together. I will really want one clear page that just answers that question very directly. It's easy to read, it's quick to quote. You're doing the AI's work for it, and that's what helps you get picked. So now your website answers the question of what you offer directly. But the thing is, your site isn't the only place that your AI referral partner checks, which brings us to the fourth and final thing. Say what you do consistently everywhere. Of everything I've researched about how AI decides who to recommend, this is the piece that comes up again and again. AI doesn't just grab one fact about you from your site and then usually hand it over to a reader. It builds a little story about who you are and how you help, pieced together from everywhere that you show up online. And what helps earn its trust really is consistency. When you describe what you do and who you help in the same consistent language everywhere that you show up online, on your website, in your social media content, the way that other people are talking about you on their websites, AI reads that repetition as confidence, and it's a lot more likely to know how to recommend you. And the easiest way to stay consistent is to make your website the seat of it all. When your site is clear about how you help and how you talk about what you do, everything else is a foundation to draw from. So your social media, your podcast pitches, your emails, they all are ideally pulling from that same messaging source. And if they do that consistently, then that makes AI search very happy. Remember Carrie Ann, the couples communication coach that I mentioned earlier? When her clients found her through ChatGPT, she realized that the words that those clients used to describe what they wanted were her words. The same phrases that she uses in her podcast, in her emails, on her blog, on her website service pages. That consistency is what taught AI that she was the one to recommend. And notice how this connects back to where we started. In one point, you were echoing the words that your clients use for their problem. Carrie Ann kept her own words consistent for the solution, and AI matched people to her for both ends of that conversation. Because AI learns who you are about everything that is published out there about you on the internet, your site, your content, other people's sites, podcasts you've been on. Your digital footprint is what it reads, and nowadays there is nowhere to hide. AI finds everything. It finds even the old pages that you never put in your navigation. So keep that footprint consistent and keep adding to it. Okay, now let's zoom out here for a second. Your website keeps being your business card for the real people that are visiting it, and now it's also what wins you the referral from AI search. Build these 4 things into it, and when someone asks AI who to hire, yours is much more likely to be recommended. This is exactly the work that my team and I do. We build websites for coaches and online businesses who are geared up and ready for the way that people are going to find them next. The link to work with me is in the description. I would love to talk with you. And if you remember Greg from earlier, the business coach that ChatGPT started recommending to clients, I actually sat down with him for a whole conversation about how he did it. So go watch that one next.